I could summarize these types of discourse. We have seen that there are four major types of discourse.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back. This video is about types of discourse. We will talk about different types of discourse that are used in discourse studies or discourse analysis.
Types of discourse analysis. Discourse can be categorized in various ways depending on the field of study. For example, linguistics, communication, education. Broadly speaking, there are four primary types of discourse based on function and structure. If we talk about discourse on the basis of function and structure, there are four major types, and we try to understand these four types one by one with examples. Number one, narrative discourse. The first type is narrative discourse. Purpose of this discourse is to tell a story or recount events. Structure of this discourse is typically follows a chronological order with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Chronological order means that it has a sequence of events. Features of this discourse analysis are that it has a characters, it has a setting, it has a plot, conflict, and resolution. So these are main features of discourse, narrative discourse. Example of narrative discourse are novels, personal anecdotes, fairy tales, biographies, historical accounts. So these are examples of narrative discourse. For example, once upon a time, in a village by the river lived an old fisherman. So this is a example of narrative discourse, that it starts from a particular place and moves chronologically. The second type is descriptive discourse. The purpose of descriptive discourse is to describe a person, place, object, or a situation in detail. Structure of this descriptive discourse is that it focuses on sensory details. What something looks, sounds, feels, smells, or tastes like. So it's basically a picture painted with the help of words. Feature of this discourse is that it has a rich vocabulary, uses of imagery, excessive use of adjectives, and metaphors. For example, travel writing, product descriptions, setting descriptions in literature. Example of this descriptive discourse is the sky was painted in shades of orange and pink as the sun dipped below the horizon. So after listening these lines, the sky painted shades of orange and pink, sun dipped below the horizon. You can imagine, you can visualize things. So the descriptive discourse basically aims to paint a picture that you can imagine and visualize with your senses. The third type of discourse is expository discourse. The purpose of expository discourse is to inform, to explain, or define a concept or idea. Structure of expository discourse is logical, and it is written in form of introduction, explanation, and conclusion. Features of expository discourse are factual, based on facts, objective in tones, use of definitions, examples, and comparisons. For example, textbooks, news articles, academic essays, how-to guides. For example, Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants convert sunlight into energy. So this is telling a fact. It is telling a some it's explaining something or explaining some concept. If we talk about the fourth type, it's argumentative, also known as persuasive discourse. The purpose of argumentative discourse is to persuade the audience of a specific viewpoint or argument, as it is clearly known from the title that its main objective is to persuade audience, audience or have argumentation. Structure of argumentative or persuasive discourse is that it has a thesis statement, then supporting arguments to support the thesis with the help of added evidences, counter arguments, and conclusion. The feature used in this type of discourse are logical reasoning. It proceeds with the logical order, emotional appeals, rhetorical devices. Example: opinion columns, debates, legal arguments, political speeches. For example, we must invest in the renewable energy if we want to protect our planet for a future generation. So this is logical. This is a thesis statement. We must invest in energy. Why? To protect planets. Why? For future generations. So it's persuasive or argumentative. Other than these four types of discourse, there are further types of discourse that scholars often expand the categories beyond these four types, especially when studying real world or institutional context. These are, one of them is institutional discourse. Language used in formal setting like education, law, or healthcare. Media discourse, discourse used in the news, advertisements, films, and social media. Political discourse, how language is used in politics to influence, persuade, or shape ideology because it relates to power. And academic discourse, language used in communication, such as research papers, lectures, conferences, etc. Digital online discourse, communication in digital spaces like Twitter, blogs, forums, messaging apps, etc. Multimodal discourse, discourse that combines language with images, sound, gestures, for example, memes, videos that have multimodal face. So if I could summarize these types of discourse, we have seen that there are four major types of discourse. One of them is narrative, which aims to tell a story. Another one is descriptive, to create a vivid picture. Next one is expository, to inform or explain. The fourth one is argumentative or persuasive, to persuade or argue a point. Other than these four types, there are some other types of discourse that include political, media, institutional, digital discourse, depending on the context. I hope you have understood it. If you like or get something, please like the video and subscribe the channel. Thank you. See you next time.